Shocking true story. My stepson walked in while I was changing. What happened next? I am Julia, a 38-year-old woman who is happily married and resides with my husband and his young son. As a stepmother, I never anticipated finding myself in such a situation. My husband, Thomas, is a successful businessman, often preoccupied with his phone or immersed in work. While I admire his commitment, it frequently leaves me feeling overlooked and isolated. As time passed, I began to yearn for companionship and intimacy, desiring the affection that had gradually diminished in our relationship. I often contemplated ways to rekindle the spark in my life. The nights were particularly lonely, as I would hear Thomas's footsteps echoing through the house while he retreated to his study, leaving me in the silence of what was once a lively home. I missed the thrill of romance, the warmth of a gentle embrace, and the excitement of being desired. My thoughts often drifted to my stepson, Liam, a handsome 22-year-old who had recently returned home after completing college. Liam had always been respectful and courteous, yet there was an undeniable chemistry between us. He had matured into a striking young man, and I found myself stealing glances at him, my heart racing whenever our eyes met. I recognized that these feelings were inappropriate, but the more I tried to suppress them, the stronger they became. One afternoon, after a long day of waiting for Thomas to return home, I decided to change my clothes. As I was about to put on a silk robe, I caught my reflection in the mirror and sighed, reminiscing about the days when I felt desired and beautiful. I made my way to the bedroom, where I could indulge in thoughts of what might be. Just as I was about to unhook my bra and put on the robe, I heard the door creak open. It was Liam, returning home unexpectedly. "Hey, Julia," he said casually, a bright smile illuminating his face as he entered. My heart raced, and I quickly grabbed my robe to cover myself, but it was too late. Liam's eyes widened slightly as he absorbed the sight of me. "I apologize for interrupting," he stammered, his gaze lingering on me for a moment longer than appropriate. "It's perfectly fine," I replied, attempting to maintain my composure. "I was just changing." A warmth crept into my cheeks, and we stood there in an uncomfortable silence, the atmosphere thick with unspoken tension. I sensed a shift between us, an electric charge that was difficult to overlook. Liam shifted his weight from one foot to the other, his eyes darting back to me as if he were weighing his options. I should probably leave," he finally said, taking a step back toward the door. "Wait," I called out, my voice barely above a whisper. "You don't have to go, we can talk." He hesitated, his gaze searching mine, and the desire simmering beneath the surface felt almost tangible. "I've been feeling a bit lonely lately," I admitted. "It's challenging being here without Thomas. I realize we haven't connected as we could." "I understand," he replied, his voice low. "It's been strange with him so preoccupied." Taking a deep breath, I felt a surge of courage. What if we spent some time together, just the two of us? To my surprise, a smile spread across his face. "I would like that." Drawn by an unseen force, I stepped closer, the distance between us diminishing until we were mere inches apart. I could feel the warmth emanating from him. The chemistry between us was undeniable. "Liam, I want to be honest. I've thought about you far more than I should," I confessed, locking my gaze with his. He admitted, stepping closer, his voice tinged with nervous excitement. In that instant, all my fears dissipated, and I leaned in, capturing his lips with mine. The kiss began tentatively but quickly intensified, igniting a passion within me that had lain dormant for years. His hands found their way to my waist, drawing me nearer as we surrendered to each other. I eventually broke the kiss, breathless and exhilarated. "This is so wrong," I murmured, my heart racing. "Perhaps, but it feels so right," he replied, his voice thick with desire. Before I could contemplate the consequences, I pulled him back into another kiss, my fingers weaving through his hair. The kiss transformed into something more fervent, his hands exploring my back as I pressed against him. The heat emanating from his body sent shivers down my spine, and when we finally parted, I gazed into his eyes, seeing a reflection of the same mix of excitement and trepidation. "Are we really doing this?" I whispered, breathless. "Yes," he affirmed, his grip firm on my chest. "I want this, Julia. I've wanted you for a long time." His words emboldened me, and I stepped back slightly, taking his hand and leading him toward the bed. The moment felt surreal, yet I was ready to embrace it. As we sat on the edge of the bed, I leaned in closer, our lips meeting again with urgency. Liam's hands roamed my body, exploring every curve as I melted into his touch. The heat between us intensified, igniting a fire I had not felt in years. My fingers traced along his jawline, and I could see the desire burning in his eyes. "Let's not hold back," I said breathlessly, exhilarated by my own boldness. With a nod, he leaned in again, kissing me deeply. I felt him pressing against me, his body hot and eager. My hands explored his chest, feeling the solid muscles beneath his shirt. I knew I wanted more, and the thought thrilled me. Slowly, I pushed him back onto the bed, straddling him as I kissed him with urgency. He looked up at me, his eyes wide with surprise and excitement. I could sense his heart racing beneath me, mirroring my own. "This was unexpected," he breathed, his hands firmly gripping my hips. "I had not anticipated this either," I replied, my voice low and sultry, yet it felt too pleasurable to halt our actions. As we continued to kiss, I felt him responding to my every caress, our bodies moving in sync. I began to slide my hands beneath his shirt, exploring the contours of his toned abdomen and feeling the warmth of his skin. He let out a soft groan, a sound that sent shivers down my spine. "God, Julia, you're incredible," he whispered, his hands moving to my back, pulling me closer as I pressed against him. I adored the way he looked at me, the desire in his eyes bolstering my confidence. "I want to feel you," I whispered, my voice thick with longing. "Then let us not waste any more time," he replied, his hands finding the hem of my robe and pulling it apart. I gasped at the sensation of being exposed to him. He took in my body, and a thrill of excitement coursed through me. "You're beautiful," he murmured, leaning in to kiss my collarbone, igniting a fire within me. I felt the heat rising and surrendered to the pleasure of the moment as his hands roamed over my body, awakening every nerve ending. He kissed down my neck, sending waves of pleasure through me, and I let out a soft moan, arching my back against him as he continued his trail of kisses. "More," I urged, my body yearning for his touch. With newfound confidence, Liam sat up, gripping my waist as he turned us over, pinning me against the bed. His eyes sparkled with mischief and desire as he leaned in for another kiss, capturing my lips with fervor. I could feel his weight pressing against me, and every moment felt electric. I grasped his tool, astonished by its size. It was so substantial that I could hardly contain my desire to taste it. He began to moan, and my desire intensified as we became lost in one another, the outside world gradually fading away while we delved into our passions. The room was enveloped in soft whispers, and the rhythmic sounds of our bodies moving in unison. Each touch and kiss was increasingly intoxicating, and as we intertwined, I experienced a sense of liberation that I had not felt in years. I yearned to explore every part of him, to immerse myself completely in the moment. Our bodies moved in perfect harmony, igniting a fire that engulfed us both. Eventually, as the fervor subsided, we sank into a comfortable embrace, catching our breath. I gazed into Liam's eyes, feeling a joy and excitement that had long been absent from my life. However, just as I began to relax, the doorbell rang again, jolting me from my euphoric state. "What was that?" I asked, my heart racing as the reality of our situation dawned on me. "It's probably your husband," Liam replied, his eyes wide with alarm. "Thomas wasn't supposed to be home for hours," I exclaimed, hastily trying to adjust my robe. "Quick, we need to hide," Liam urged, glancing toward the door. We sprang into action, frantically attempting to compose ourselves. Just as we managed to look somewhat presentable, I heard Thomas's voice echoing from the hallway. "Julia, are you home?" he called out cheerfully. Yeah, I'm in the bedroom," I responded, my heart pounding as I glanced at Liam, who appeared equally flustered. "Stay quiet," Liam whispered, quickly slipping into the closet just as Thomas entered the room. A smile spread across Thomas's face upon seeing me. "I didn't think you'd be home. How was your day?" he asked, stepping closer. "Just the usual," I replied, forcing a smile and striving to maintain a semblance of normalcy. "How was yours?" "Busy as always," he sighed. "But I thought I'd take a break and spend some time with you." I nodded, feeling a blend of guilt and excitement, still acutely aware of Liam's lingering presence, his warmth, and the thrill of our shared moments. I had to set aside those thoughts as I attempted to engage with Thomas, who appeared unaware of the tension that lingered between us. As the evening unfolded, Thomas and I settled onto the couch, exchanging light conversation. Yet my mind continually drifted back to Liam and the intense connection we had just experienced. Each recollection sent my heart racing, igniting a fire within me that was impossible to ignore. A few days later, while Thomas was out for another late meeting, I found myself alone at home once more, my thoughts consumed by the memory of our last encounter. I longed for the thrill of being desired, for the sensation of truly feeling alive. In an effort to ease the tension, I decided to take a long, relaxing bath, hoping it would calm my racing thoughts. I lit a few candles and filled the tub with warm water, allowing the steam to envelop me. As I soaked, my mind inevitably returned to Liam. The way his hands had explored my body, the passion in his kisses, it was utterly intoxicating. A wave of heat washed over me at the memory, and I realized I needed to see him again. Just then, I heard a soft knock at the door, causing my heart to skip a beat. I quickly wrapped a towel around myself before opening the door to find Liam standing there, a playful grin on his face. "Hey," he said, his eyes sparkling. "I hope I'm not interrupting anything." "Not at all," I replied, my heart racing at his unexpected arrival. "Come in." As he stepped into the bathroom, I felt a surge of excitement at having him so close again. "I was just taking a bath," I said shyly, trying to mask my nerves. "Looks inviting," he remarked, his gaze lingering on me as I leaned against the door frame. "Mind if I join you?" I hesitated for a brief moment, my heart racing at the thought of being so near him again, but the thrill was too compelling to resist. "Sure, why not?" In an instant, Liam stepped into the bathroom, closing the door behind him. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation as I observed him gradually undress, my breath quickening with each revelation of his sculpted physique. Every fiber of my being yearned to touch him, to explore the warmth emanating from his body. As he settled into the tub beside me, the warm water enveloped us, creating a cocoon of intimacy. We exchanged tentative glances before our lips met in a passionate kiss, the water splashing around us as I surrendered to him. His hands found their way to my waist, drawing me closer while I tangled my fingers in his hair. The kisses intensified, filled with an insatiable hunger and desire as we became lost in the moment. I could feel the heat of his body against mine, igniting a fire within me. "You are even more beautiful than I remember," Liam murmured against my lips, his breath warm against my skin. I smiled, flattered, and replied, "You become more irresistible each time I see you." With newfound confidence, I pushed him back against the tub, straddling him as I pressed my body against his. The water swirled around us, but I was entranced by the sensation of his skin against mine. My fingers traced down his chest, relishing the feel of his muscles beneath my touch. "Julia," he breathed, his voice laced with longing, "you have no idea how much I've desired this." "Show me," I responded, my voice sultry as I leaned in for another kiss, this one more fervent. The outside world faded away as we explored one another, the water mingling with our desires, and our kisses grew more urgent. I felt his hands roaming my body, tracing every curve as I surrendered to his touch. The thrill of being so close to him sent shivers down my spine, igniting every nerve ending. I leaned back slightly, allowing him to kiss down my neck, savoring the sensation of his lips against my skin. "Liam," I gasped, my body arching toward him, yearning for more. A low growl of desire escaped me as he held my face, his thumbs gently caressing my cheeks while he drew me in for another intense kiss. The heat between us intensified, a powerful force that pulled us closer, compelling us to explore further. The water around us faded into a blur as we became entwined, lost in the fervor of the moment. My hands roamed over his body, tracing his shoulders and down his arms as he deepened our kiss, each movement igniting the passion that surged between us. Suddenly, I felt a surge of boldness and pulled back slightly, locking eyes with him. "Let's take this further," I whispered, my heart racing at the thought. "Are you sure?" he asked, his voice thick with longing. I have never been more certain of anything in my life, I replied, anticipation coursing through me. With that, we moved together, the warm water enveloping us as we embraced the heat of our desires. Our bodies pressed against one another, entwined in the moment. As the passion escalated, our breaths mingled, and we lost ourselves in the ecstasy of being together, time seeming to dissolve as we surrendered to our desires, exploring every inch of each other and feeling the warmth of our connection intensify. It was a whirlwind of kisses, soft whispers, and tender caresses that left us both breathless. Eventually, as the water cooled around us, we pulled apart slightly, gazing into each other's eyes and feeling the bond that had blossomed between us. I felt exhilarated, alive in a way I hadn't felt in years. However, just as we began to relax, the sound of the front door echoed through the house, and we exchanged anxious glances. "Thomas is home," I exclaimed, panic rising within me. "Quick! We have to get out of here," Liam said, scrambling out of the tub. We hurriedly dried off and dressed, the tension palpable as we attempted to make ourselves presentable. Just as I finished adjusting my hair, I heard Thomas's voice call out again. "Julia, I'm back," he shouted. "We must find a way to conceal ourselves," Liam urged, casting a quick glance toward the door. I nodded in agreement, and together we slipped into the closet, our hearts racing as we heard Thomas enter the bathroom. In the darkness, we stood closely, our breaths intertwining as we awaited the tension to ease. Thomas began washing his hands at the sink, completely unaware of the turmoil that had just transpired in his home. "How was your day, Julia?" he inquired, his tone casual. "Just relaxing," I responded, my heart pounding as I exchanged a nervous look with Liam. After a few anxious moments, Thomas finished and exited the bathroom, allowing us to exhale in relief. "That was close," Liam whispered, his eyes wide with excitement. "I know, I can't believe we just—" I started, but before I could complete my thought, he leaned in and kissed me gently, reminding me of the exhilaration we had just experienced. "We can't stop now," he said, his voice low and urgent. "This is just the beginning." My heart raced once more, caught between the excitement of our secret and the reality of my life with Thomas. Yet deep down, I recognized that what was unfolding between Liam and me was irresistible. I was prepared to embrace this new chapter, wherever it might lead. As we emerged from the closet, the air was thick with tension and possibility. We both understood that our lives would be irrevocably changed. The allure of the forbidden lingered, and I was ready to plunge deeper into this unexpected romance, regardless of the challenges ahead. Thanks to listen till now. Please subscribe my channel. Do you want next parts of this forbidden story? Let me know by your comments. Thank you.